In today's Target in Focus, we'll be taking a look at Euro Yen, Pound Dollar and Dollar Yen. Joining me to discuss these currency pairs is Martin Lykke, FX specialist and owner of FX broker NPFOREX in London. Hello Martin. Considering the current high volatility within the European financial crisis and with calls for borrowing costs to be reduced, what are your short, mid and long-term predictions for the Euro Yen?
Well, I think the euro will stabilize against the yen in the coming months. Both regions are in serious problems, but the problems in the eurozones are bigger than Japan, so on a longer term the euro will start falling again. A year from now there is an election campaign in Germany, and that will get the market worried about the euro structure and the future of the euro. I don't think it will be popular with the German voters to give south of Europe further support, so politicians will show what they can to be hardliners. And at the same time, there's a new government in Italy. So you can see North and South in Europe openly having big political discussions a year from now. And that will send the euro even lower. I'm convinced that Japan still will be struggling at that moment. But Euroland's problems are bigger than Japan's. So euro will fall against the yen to a level around 90 a year from now.
Can you tell me, Martin, what long-term damage do you think the euro crisis will have on the major currencies, and which currency do you think is most at risk?
You know, I think that, of course, the euro will definitely have a great impact on the euro for longer term, that there is this crisis in Europe. But I also see, for instance, sterling, it will have a big negative effect on the British pound, because British economy is really dependent on Eurozone. So though sterling has been stronger against the euro this year, I think that there is a limit to how strong the British pound can be against the euro. So you see a huge trade deficit in UK. So there's a limit to how strong the sterling can be. So I think that it will, in the longer term, also have a negative effect on sterling. I see the sterling weakening against the US dollars. I think the British economy is in a really bad shape at the moment, and I see the dollar trending upwards in the coming year. So I think sterling will go down, and 12 months from now, I see the pair will be quoted at 143. I'm also concerned that the British government will struggle to meet its target for a reduction in the fiscal deficit, given the fact that the economy is in recession. That could give concerns about Britain losing its AAA credit rating, and that would hit the safe haven inflows that have supported sterling. I'm concerned about the British economy. It is in recession. There's a huge trade deficit, and I think, on the other hand, that I expect the U.S. economy will show some strength, helped by a stronger financial sector, and that will send the U.S. dollar up against most other currencies.
And what are your short, mid and long-term predictions for the dollar yen and pound dollar?
Bank of Japan has for a long time tried to weaken the yen against the dollar, and though they have not succeeded, I think they might have a chance, even though I expect turmoil in the market a year from now. And the market then usually would use the Japanese yen as a safe haven. Generally, I expect the pair to be very stable, but with a tendency to a weaker yen. In my view, the US dollar will trend upwards in the next year, and I see a chance for the US economy to be stronger than the market expects at the moment. If yen gets stronger, then Bank of Japan needs to intervene. But in a situation with a weak economy in Japan and with worries about the huge debt that Japan has, then the yen will lose a bit of ground and maybe lose a bit of its status as a safe haven. So I see a year from now, I see dollar yen in 82.
Which pairing, in your opinion, has the most risk and which has the least?
The most risk at the moment will be euro yen. I see that suddenly there can be huge problems again in the eurozone with Germany Germany and Bundesbank fighting against ECB and south of Europe, and so I fear that at one point, it's like the euro can blow up. Well, I see dollar yen will be very stable. it has been stable for quite some while, and I think that dollar yen will be very stable in the next year also.
Thanks for joining me, Martin. Well, that's all we've got time for right now. Stay tuned to Dukascopy TV for more updates and interviews from the TV team. For now, though, goodbye.